Hey, how's it going? It's Grant,
And Shelby.
the Garden of Eater, and this week we're talking about what to do in preparations for a hurricane or other storm. It is kind of like peak hurricane season, and then later on in the year it'll be, winter, and people are going to get snowstorms and stuff like that. So, what can we do to prepare? So many tanks. We've had quite a few situations over the last 10 years or so where hurricanes have hit either near or around our surrounding areas and knocked out power. And we've seen, I wouldn't say a worst case situation, but our power has gone out for 21 hours. And we saw basically the gist of what all needs to get done and what can happen if the power goes out for that long. In some situations, the power could go out for a lot longer. So, starting off today, somebody in our local aquarium group posted, maybe it's too soon, but they're kind of concerned about a hurricane. And then me and Shelby started to make a hurricane sale, and then we're double checking it. And I think the guy found something from last year. However, in the next couple of days, maybe the guy is right and we just couldn't find the right information on it. We might be having a little hurricane sale, but if Shelby's fully right and she's confident she's right, there isn't anything that would be heading our way. However, it did say that the storm was going to hit probably more closer to the panhandle, but it would be the day before Shelby is expecting for the baby. So, in preparation of the hurricane, we're pretty much going to just get started because we have so many things around the house, but I'm doing it for other reasons as well. We've got somebody coming by to do a tour video of the house, so doing as many water changes as I possibly can between now and then was already going to happen. So I'll share with you guys more of the protocol that we take when a storm is heading our way.
Nathan, member for 18 months. Thank you so much. Says, hello, my shrimpy friends.
How you doing? So the first thing I like to do, of course, I already said it, is large water changes. Layla's room, the rack by the front door, not this, well, yeah, this side got done. And then the hallway as well has all been water changed. Just got this other rack left in the rack behind us. All the tanks in the kitchen and by the front door have also been done also. So just powering through those water changes, making sure the water is as polished and pristine as possible. That way, if the power does go out, the water starts getting a little dirty at that point on, and it doesn't start out dirty already.
I just want to take a quick second to say thank you to Richard. We have better lighting tonight. Thank you, because he installed a beautiful fan with a light above us that we can actually use. So it's really nice.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, so much. I'll be talking about all of the upgrades Richard helped us out with around the house this weekend later on in the stream. But thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. So after I do large water changes throughout the house, I like to store as much water as I possibly can. So we have a 250-gallon standing water tank in the garage that I would fill up completely with RO water. And then I've got 5 trash cans throughout the house that I would get prepped and ready for water changes. All the water would already be pre-mixed because you can't pre-mix it if your power goes out unless you have a generator or something like that. So the less plugs and outlets I'm using while the generator is running, the better. So everything will be pre-mixed before the hurricane makes landfall and can possibly knock out our power. We also stop feeding everything 2 to 3 days before the hurricane makes landfall. That way, everything's kind of fasted. There's not a lot of stuff in the gut for them to poop out and make waste. So that's always a great thing to do if you've got fish. With the shrimp, you really can't starve them. They're going to eat biofilms and stuff like that. So I don't worry about starving the shrimp, but I do stop the feeding a couple days beforehand just in case. Also, with storing water for water changes, just in case the power goes out. Takes out your air conditioning unit. I like to fill up some ice trays with straight RO water. That way, the top tanks, especially the ones that get a little bit too warm, you can go ahead and throw a little bit of RO ice cubes in there. Frozen water bottles are also great. One time for the hurricane, we took an entire 5-gallon bucket of RO water and froze that in the freezer. And then as we needed it, we just kind of chipped it away with a chisel and hammer. So that was kind of the best way to keep it all in one clump and not melting as we were using it. Anything else for me? No? For those that don't have as many tanks, storing up on extra batteries for backup pumps and little aerators, battery-powered ones. There are the USB ones, so making sure that those ones are completely charged beforehand is always a smart thing to do. We've got the generator and 7 Alitas, maybe 8 now. 7 that are running right now, I believe. And once the fish room's running, we'll have 8. But the generator's got an extension cord and enough outlets that all of the Alitas can run, so that way the house can constantly get air and filtration. Not all of our tanks are on sponge filters, but all of the important ones with fish and shrimp breeding tanks are. There's only a couple of planted tanks that have hang on the back filters or in the tank circulation pumps. Still nothing for me? It's all me?
I will talk if there's something
Right.
for you.
Sorry.
You asked this way too much.
I need a drink. I'm sorry. But making sure that generator is primed and ready to go. You want to make sure you start it up every 4 to 6 months or so, and making sure that the gas is no more than a year old, so that way it's fresh, works. You may have to clean out some filters or the carburetor or something like that to get them running after they've been sitting for so long, but it's best to do that a week or 2 beforehand instead of worrying about that one last minute. That's probably should have been further up on the list.
Tube Dog wants to see your haircut. Stephen P. said, did Grant happen to notice the company name I used on the address label? You opened the box, don't ask me.
No.
I came home and he just kept, he didn't even tell me who it was from. He just made me guess and was, funneling the stuff out of the thing. And I'm like, there's only 2 options in the world here. And I guessed on the first one, but it was incredible.
I never looked at the label. I thought it was a box of Aquachar. I got an email that said the Aquachar box had been shipped, and I thought it meant delivered, and there was a box there. So I went and grabbed it, put it on the counter. It weighed about the same as our box of Aquachar when it came in, about the same size. And the Aquachar came in 2 days afterwards. I have not gotten a chance.
I would have laughed so hard.
Oh man, no, I didn't. I would have been upset about that part. But we were really happy. You went over and beyond. So much great stuff in there. I did not have a chance to make the beignets. Shelby was using the kitchen to get stuff ready for her baby shower. And I've got to get to it. But this week I'll be probably making the gumbo, some jambalaya as well, and the beignets for sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much, both Jenna and Steven, and the kids as well.
Spoiled us, rotten. Bugsy said, I'd be interested in trying the battery backup pumps from Aquarium Co-op, but up here I don't deal with many storms. It's really just even power outages. Those can happen if someone was to just run into a pole. You can buy backup pumps just about anywhere. Most fish stores will have them. Even we sell them at West Marine. Every hurricane season, there's always someone that comes in, and all of our pumps are gone because usually the pet stores will sell out of them fast because they only have 1 or 2, or they need them immediately. So they'll come to us, and then we sell out of all our pumps just so someone can keep their bubbler running for their fish.
But I would also like the that backup pump from Aquarium Co-op just to take with us collecting. I think that one. I think they're really small and I know convenient is the word I was going for. Back to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so just making sure those generators are up and running. Hopefully, you don't have to use them. Hopefully, the power doesn't go out. The one downside with our generator is it doesn't run the AC unit for our entire house, so it does start to get warm as soon as the power goes out. When Hurricane Irma came through the house, that was our one issue. Power got knocked out about 9 o'clock and didn't come on until 9 o'clock p.m. Didn't come on until 6 p.m. the next day. So out for almost 21 hours. Maybe my math isn't right there, or the date time wasn't right, but it was 21 hours that our power went out. Yeah, no, that's right. So we had an increase in temperature in our tanks of 12 degrees. They went from 72 to 84, and most of the aquariums, some of the higher tanks got up to 86 degrees. We had 155 tanks at the time, and then we had issues with 5 tanks. Most of them were Tiger tanks. One of them was a Taiwan B tank. And I would say it was all to do because of temperature, because we had the Elitas running on the generator. So the only downside was the spike in temperature. I swear that was like one of the hottest days with no AC. We had some fans running and stuff like that. It was brutally hot. And yeah, the shrimp did not like it that much in those 5 tanks. However, in the other tanks, any female that wasn't pregnant before the storm definitely was pregnant afterwards, whether it was the high temperatures or the pressure differences in the atmosphere and stuff like that. They were definitely breeding after the storm.
Easy V Rider said, so I had a tank that had a bacterial infection. It's been empty and running for over 3 months. I just gave it a heavy dose of hydrogen peroxide. Do you think it's safe to add shrimp back in?
Generally speaking, yes, a bacterial infection should be, kicked out as long as there's no live organisms in it. However, did you get rid of all of the seed shrimp? Did you get rid of all the snails and everything else that could possibly harvest the bacterial infection? I don't know exactly how that all works. However, just to be safe, I would get some of Plamsky's Cure. If you do have a bacterial infection, that stuff has worked incredibly, and not just for us. Like it's one of the items we got off of Plamsky that we've already had to restock. So a lot of other people have been using it, and there's been nothing but good things coming back from it. So I would recommend buying a bottle of it, keeping it on hand just in case. And if you don't use it, you've got it in the future in case you overfeed, a hurricane comes through, knocks out your power, gives some shrimp some bacterial infections because of the heat or some substrate mishap or something like that. So I would always recommend keeping some of it on hand in the medicine cabinet along with some Aquachar. But you can't use them at the same time. The Aquachar will remove the cure, which is a little PSA.
And if you are to add shrimp back in, I don't know, it's not really written there. If you haven't done a water change, make sure you do a good water change, and I would let it run for a few more days before you put them in, just to make sure if there's anything left. And then Richard says he has a whole house generator for hurricane season, and Toop Dog said if you build a house, have a generator added to the build. That is in the plans when we move and get a warehouse. That will be a part of the build. That will be in the cost of the build.
And then we'll have a loft in the warehouse. So if power goes out, we'll just go hang out in the warehouse.
Yeah.
But, man, yeah, it was way too much money to pay it for this house. We were planning on being out of here in 2 years. We've like a year and a half. I think we've talked about it already. I think last year in February we were talking about moving, but I don't know. I kind of like to be in the house while everything's set up for at least a year and then move. So hopefully in the next 6 months, everything is done, set up, running the way I want it, and give it a solid year to go. I got the hiccups. I'm sorry.
You drive me crazy. Yeah, the baby also got his love for hiccups. She
It's not a lot.
hiccups every single day. It's ridiculous. And then Boots and Cat says, "Here we don't get hurricanes, tornadoes, strong thunderstorms, but we do get idiots running into power poles." Exactly.
You
It's
can't really
something.
prepare for that though, unless
Right.
you like know a holiday's coming up, and then you're like every
That's why I
4th
say
of July.
just have it ready. You know.
Yeah. This is all stuff that you could prepare for year round, I guess, but not fasting the fish and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The water changes beforehand.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Ready for what?
The next one?
Why would I be ready?
I didn't know
Are
if you
you
had
ready?
another one for me or not. So, for us, thinning out the shrimp tanks is definitely important. You don't want to have too many bodies in one tank, whether this is fish, shrimp, snails, whatever it be. So, if you can, split a colony in half by moving it into another tank. That is definitely something that I would recommend doing. For us, what we do is, because we don't have enough tanks to do that for everything, but if there is a tank that's overpopulated, we put it on the website. What is wrong?
You don't
giving
have
me a
enough
face.
tanks to do that for everything.
Yeah. If we wanted to split the colonies in
Oh.
half. Yeah, we don't have
Sorry,
enough
I
tanks
wasn't
for that.
listening to that.
All right.
I was like, how do we
you
not
gave
have
me
enough
the
tanks?
face. I was like, what did I say? So we can't really do that. So what we do is we try to sell as much shrimp as possible. I talked about in the beginning of the stream as a possible hurricane coming through. If you check out the website, some of the shrimp are marked down for that reason, that low. Other shrimp are already marked down that low because we are running a sale on our website because the baby is due in a little over a week. However, we only have 1 week to start shipping out everything and finish shipping before the baby is here. Maybe I'll do a couple of orders on Tuesday or Wednesday before the baby appointment is here. But we're basically going to sell off as much shrimp, thin that out as much as possible. Some of these prices are already as low as Black Friday sales, and we're trying to make sure that in case a hurricane comes by, they're not overpopulated, they're not absorbing more oxygen and warming up the water, and potentially, a domino effect could happen where one shrimp gets sick and passes out and dies. I think they pass out; they just perish. And then, the ammonia level starts to rise. The warmer the tanks are, the higher the ammonia starts to climb up, the quicker it starts to. So you definitely want to make sure you go through and thin out the tanks as much as possible. So our shrimp are on sale. And then not only that, in case a storm isn't coming, I don't want to be shipping out all these orders and all this stuff in between all of the shows that we're going to do. I like to spend as much time with Shelby and the baby as possible. But we still got to make money. So don't not buy stuff so I spend time with the baby. But if you are looking for something and you can get it now, I do recommend buying it in the next week. I will be giving out more extras than I would usually be, especially in those heavily populated tanks. And then come next Monday, the least amount of orders for those tanks will be getting even extras, basically. All right. So then another thing we've got is all of the shrimp outside, and to prevent algae, we've got shade sails throughout most of the backyard. I've got 4 of them that I absolutely have to take down, and then other than that, they would either rip out the hardware out of the walls, rip the wall off, or just rip the sail or the I don't know what's holding the sail to the actual hardware. So we just take it all down. It's a hassle to bring it down and then put it back up again, but it's better than having them rip or do property damage or end up in somebody else's house altogether.
Stephen P. said, I can't imagine moving all the tanks, let alone y'all's. It will definitely be a long process, and it'll be very interesting. I think that would be probably the coolest, little video span is us moving everything and moving it to the new house and see how we do it. Realistically, what we're doing is we're going to be setting up new tanks and then cycling those and hopefully moving the shrimp from these tanks to those tanks, so we don't actually have to physically move the shrimp in the tanks. We'd like to prevent that as much as possible, but it might not always be the way you want it to be. Life's life.
I've been planning this out for quite a few years, to the point where I'm pretty sure if I found the company to build the metal building, I already have the exact plan drawn up. It would take me 5 minutes to tell them exactly what I wanted and where I wanted all the electrical and everything, because I know where all the racks would go. I know exactly what I would do with like a little front office space, the loft there I already mentioned. But we would basically set up 500
Automatic
aquariums on automated water changes, and then pack everything up like we were shipping it to ourselves. Instead of going to the post office, we would just drive it to the 500 tanks. It's impossible to catch all the shrimp, too many babies. So we'd catch as many as we can, drain the water level to about an inch, move everything there, and then turn those all into automated water change systems. So at a flip of the switch, we can do 1,000 aquariums, and then we can really focus and hone in on those genetics and everything like that. So we've been planning it out, and I think it's going to be, I don't know, content worth watching, where everybody's done like red cherry shrimp videos and stuff like that. So I know I might have my own take on them, and I might be able to remove all the stuff like the beat around the bush and snake oil stuff and just get to the point on it and teach you everything you need to know. But there's just so much of it. How many people are moving 500 aquariums though? So I think that'll be interesting and unique, a nice little niche.
Sorry.
See, LRB, he sold the house. That was impressive.
Yeah.
But what if you moved the
strong.
entire house?
Yeah.
What if we can get a company that could just pick the house up and move it onto another property with another house?
That'd be crazy.
It's on a concrete slab.
That
It
would be
costs
cool.
less money to move a house than build a house.
At this point, it probably would. Passing one said, after Hurricane Andrew, 6 months before we had electricity at that point, we might as well have had a fish fry. Yeah, 6 months. Luckily, our shrimp would most likely survive. The only issue would be like the heat. Like we would definitely lose some of the Caridina. They wouldn't breed as well, but like our Neos would probably still thrive even without power. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
I'm even thinking about just setting up the Neocaridina on the other side of the house without any air, without any power, or anything like that. But if I have the time next year, I'll probably just end up doing everything the right way. Even if it is only going to run for a year, right?
Foods and Cats. I've been out of the loop. Did you announce her name yet? No, we have not, and I don't think we're going to name it
Next week.
on the live stream.
Maybe not on the live stream, but next week we will at least
Obviously,
announce
the baby's coming
it.
next.
But we'll have one more live stream beforehand. I think we're going to hit 50K subs before next week. So it'd be really nice if next week was our 50K giveaway. It'll be our largest giveaway yet. I'm going to announce the winner, or we'll draw the winner for the Mimic Nature Rack giveaway. We're going to give away an aquarium. We're going to give away a lot of shrimp, a lot of plants, gift cards, Sam Scale prints. That'll be hopefully the stream next week. I think we got like less than 700 subs to go. We're going to have a really nice short going out tomorrow, so hopefully that gets us there, and maybe possibly we'll be able to knock out an entire video or two tomorrow. I thought Shelby had to work. She doesn't, so I'm going to do as much water changes as I can, and while she's sitting on the bed, she'll tell me what to film in between some of the tanks, so I'll get it all done.
And maybe we'll announce it. I gave 0 hints at our baby shower because I had already told like half those people the first name we had picked, and then it wasn't. We changed our minds. So I was just gonna wait till the baby came, but if Grant feels need to do it next stream. I guess we'll do it next stream.
You're gonna wait until the baby is here. I mean, I didn't even
Yeah.
talk about this. I think today we agreed on the name 100%. I think we're done trying. Unless some name just smacks us in the face.
Right.
Like, it's 99.99999. Wait, that's wrong.
I've tried like 100 different names in the past few days, and I've come up with some off-the-wall names, too.
I think they're just getting worse now. Like, the last one she hit me with was Xenon. Like, have you watched the show?
Have you watched the movie? It's so good.
It's a show and a movie, and it's just not...
I love that.
There was no shrimp in space in that show. If there was one shrimp in that entire TV show, then I would name her
That's so
Xenon.
old. That's not even good. LS Aquatics, thanks for joining us. Is 6KH, 10GH too much for Caridina shrimp?
Yeah, for Caridina shrimp, you're going to want 0KH. You can get away with tiger shrimp in those parameters, but I do recommend like half of that KH. So it is a little high, but tangerine tigers should be fine in there. They're just not going to breed as prolific as they would in 0KH waters with our experience. And looking at the way the other breeders and sellers have their setups, is Caridina parameters are the way to go.
Tube Dog said, I know you have more shrimp than your site. Ever thought of posting a breeding page with pictures and names on your site?
One day, maybe. I've usually got a list on the computer that I like to update and post every so often. And like the purpose of that post is trying to find new shrimp that I can bring into the house that I don't already have. Besides Sulawesi tanks, I don't have anything free and open. I don't have room to take anything. I need to split tanks up. I need more super tiger tanks so I can start selling super tigers. I need more Hummels. I need more. The list goes on and on, right? So one day that would be really nice to have, but right now I don't have time for that. I don't have time for the charts or a lot of stuff that I'd like to do.
Might be something I can do coming up.
I do plan on going through as I'm doing water changes, especially like the ones I've already done. The next time I feed, maybe I put some normal tigers on the website, maybe some purple bar tigers go on the website. I've got 2 tanks of both of those. So maybe I start taking some photos and revamping some of the website a little bit while we're cleaning up. Richard's got something?
Richard said that we'll come up and help you move the tanks. We need to set up with an automatic water change system for the warehouse. Yes.
Yeah, so really what I am worried about with the automated water change setup is I would like to do it with drilled tanks. I think that looks the cleanest and the easiest. You don't like them?
Mm-mm. I think that's too much work.
I think it's less work in the long run.
Absolutely not. Did you? No, never mind. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Stephen P. said you should see what a realtor says if you ask them to show your house as is. We already did. That was way before we even added 2 of the racks behind us, the racks by the front door. That lady walked in, looked at the rack. Like, we only had like a couple racks on the wall and maybe like 1 rack by the front door that was small. And she like took a look around and she was like, all right, never spoke to us again. She was in and out real fast. She knew she did not want to deal with it. And I don't think we're going to have anyone who actually wants to deal with it because it is going to be a hard sell, especially in this area. Most of the houses, the only ones that are selling are brand new. You can barely find a house that's not brand new, or they remodeled the entire inside, gutted it out, and redid it for the next person.
But the good thing about the house as it is right now, we have pretty much gone through and like touched up all the walls, everything. Besides the bathrooms and the kitchen, the house is pretty much all remodeled and ready to go. I just got to move the stands, and I'm sure somebody would want to redo the floor, but like I'm one of those people that seriously believe the floor is something 90% of the people are going to change when they move into a house anyways to what they want to live on. So why do the floor on something when somebody, if we do the floor though, taking out the tile, going and acid washing the concrete. That stuff looks really nice.
Frank says TGOE. Any plans on the what tanks are those that were set up a few months ago? Aqua. What are those called? Aqua L tanks.
All in one. But I don't know which all in one tanks. These ones over
How is
here.
that all in one? I feel stupid.
What?
Oh, I see. Okay, I get it.
Okay.
That took me a second.
I'm
We
not
just sold
sure
all of
which. No, because I have these two Fluval all-in-one tanks that we set up. So I don't know if you're talking about the Fluver Stackers. Is that what they are? Or if you're talking about the Fluval Flexes that we set up on the counters. Or if you're talking about some of the tanks that we set up for some of the shows that we don't have anymore either. So,
we'll come back to that.
but most of them are just kind of chilling and growing plants.
Stephen P says, you come up with a perfect name and then you remember that one kid from school that you couldn't stand had the same name. I had a couple names that were like that for sure. It's not that I didn't like them. It's just like my daughter didn't. I like Eliza. No one else did. Don't worry. But my daughter especially hated it because she had a girl named Eliza in her class that was mean. And she was like, no, can't be. And I like Eliza because I watched Wild Thornberries. And I feel like we represent the Wild Thornberries just a little bit if we could just travel, you know?
But now I think it sounds like Elijah.
Easy said, what's the difference between the Snow White, the Pure White, and the Golden Bee shrimp?
All right, so golden bees are a little bit pinker, but they're pretty much the exact same shrimp as snow whites. Snow whites can still turn a little bit pink as they age and grow up. However, they are from Shelby's line of pure white lines, and they are a little bit wider, a little bit nicer than most. And then we have, I'm so sorry, the snow whites. I'm lost. I don't know what I said. The golden bees are pink, but the same exact shrimp as snow whites. And then the pure white lines will only produce pure white line and stay even whiter than the snow whites do, a little bit longer. But they all will turn a little bit pink as they age. I don't believe
the
there's
golden
true
bees
pure
look
white
more
lines.
gold than ever turn
They're
pink.
pinker than gold.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It depends on the golden bees. I've seen a lot of your golden bees look gold when they're older.
I think we have two different views of color entirely.
Women
from
have better color. Let's just say that.
Sure. I guess I'm just wrong.
Just on color. Johnny says, I've been thinking about the Stardust. Are they as hardy as the Tangerine Tigers?
Yeah, for the most part, I would say they are just as hardy. I also knocked those down $1 in price for the sale. We've got so many of them. I'd say we have more of those than Tangerine Tigers, but they're not as popular. But yeah, I've kept them with zero water, changed overfeeding with algae and crawfish, and they thrived. See, Richards are drilled.
Yeah.
That's why I said it.
Yeah.
I like Richard's setup.
Yeah.
I like Ray's aquatic setup also. But Robert doesn't like drilling tanks. So if I had somebody like Richard there that helped me drill the tanks, and then I could have Mark come up and help me put in all of the bulkheads behind me, I think we could build stands and knock that stuff out and get 500 tanks set up in record time.
Johnny said, I can imagine you had a lot of land as LRB in Florida, all that empty land. You could build your own aquarium. It'd be more of a zoo.
Yeah.
We like a lot of animals, and yes, aquariums will always come first and like be a part of our soul, but we are big animal people. Like, we're definitely like llamas or alpacas or goats or other things. We love reptiles a lot. There's going to be a snake wing there with reptiles and different things. So it's definitely going to, tortoises are big on the list for us. Actually, I have a friend who's like, I don't know if anyone's watched Camp Kennan. Most of you guys kind of like branch off to everything, but like has been building just like that. So like, I'm definitely going to have some of those cages in our our new property one day. Any Hummel shrimp available yet? Not quite yet. They are getting closer. I believe, did you finally get the Hummel shrimp to a new tank?
No, so the reason why the Tangerine Tiger, not Tangerine Tigers, the reason why the Tang Tai are so cheap on the website is because I'm trying to sell them to move them out of that tank so I can just take the Hummels straight out of the aquarium that they're in and move them into the next tank. It's the same substrate, same water parameters, same level temperature in the household, same lighting, everything. So I'm saying that's going to be my best chance to get them to start growing and breeding again. It's where I grew up my baby CPDs. It's a really nice tank. So I'm betting all of my marbles that that tank will have success in breeding them, and then I will start selling them after I send some to Luke first.
I find this so funny. Grant, we could drill all 500 tanks in a couple days. Just saying. A few minutes per tank. That sounds so crazy, though. A couple days. I know it's like probably nothing because of how much work we've done. Oh, I mean, this took years to build. So a couple days is absolutely nothing for drilling 500 tanks, but it sounds absolutely crazy to me. And the amount of money we're going to have to spend on 500 tanks, where back in the day we wouldn't, it's jumped up in price, and 500 tanks again is just going to be crazy.
Yeah,
so.
we might do 300 first, and then 100, and then 100 to try and recoup on things. But yeah, no, never know.
And Lake Deland said maybe you guys can do some rescue and be nonprofit, get grants. Yeah, and there's certain animals for sure that we might do where we rescue them. It really depends on the situation, and we never know how things are going to go. I know a lot of people that do rescues. We have a couple places here that we even have a video where we went to one of those, and that was really cool to see the lemurs and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Instead of a rescue, I'd like to do more on the conservation efforts. So I'd like to figure out things that we can do on our land that is going to promote native growth. And then on top of that, I would love to do some type of rehabilitation program or something like that to try and help repopulate something and find something that we can work on with that. But that's just a dream. I don't know if that'll be possible. But rescue, we'd kind of pick and choose. If somebody said, hey, we've got this or this, I kind of have certain things that I don't want to commit to, of course. So
yeah, there's a lot of animals that don't get taken care of, unfortunately. But the thing is, we know a lot of people that do have rescues. So and Jeff Kane said, is there a new property in the near future? Not near future, but definitely in the future.
A year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, we definitely need to move out. We don't have room. We're getting crammed in, but it definitely has to happen. Just
the end of next year, I'd like to start looking for properties.
Seagatohulus has got to get a camel or 5. See, that is one animal I don't think we'll ever have. I love camels from a distance. Thank you. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm more down for like having some llamas, having some
so you can
cattle.
rent out the llamas for weddings. So many people want a llama at their weddings. So funny. And Frank said, would you move up in a tank size at the new location?
So it depends on availability of aquariums and the exact size of the building that we can get. But ideally, 10 gallons are really nice to work in for selective breeding with Caridina shrimp. And ideally, the whole warehouse would be mainly Caridina shrimp and then some species of nanofish. And then, bottom rows, we would do Neocaridina just for videos and stuff like that. But majority of the tanks would be set up for selective bred Caridina. So the smaller the tanks, the more I can really dial in on each one. So I'd probably do mostly 10s and then maybe 20s for the Caridina tanks on the bottoms.
Yeah. And if anything, I think the largest we'd ever go up to is 40 because I've had multiple tanks that are 40 gallon. Like the 40 gallon is just enough But it's a weird footprint. That's the only issue. But it's more of the only big tanks and larger tanks would probably be inside the actual home itself. We like bigger fish and pretty much like putting a pet in a tank. So, and then Eric says, I cannot wait to squeeze Grant in less than 3 weeks, and you better be gentle with Eric.
I was just gonna say, I promise not to jump on him this time.
Oh man, you were too much.
I
Grant
still
gets
feel
a little
guilty
too
for that.
excited. Yes, he does. So make sure you hug him twice for me. You know. He's excited too. I'm sad.
I'm trying not to express it.
He knows
I
I'm
wanted
gonna
to make
cry.
a post the other day, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of hard. Taking pre-orders, that's the post. Instead of excited for Keystone Clash.
Like, I'm so excited. Shelby's gonna be at home miserable. I don't want to rub it in her face.
But yes, I am taking pre-orders for the Keystone Clash. I already have a couple. So if there's something you want to make sure that I am bringing there, I will just say this. Nothing is absolutely guaranteed to be at the Keystone Clash unless you make a pre-order, because I had hopes and dreams last past weekend of bringing so many different things to the club. Do you know how many people were upset I didn't have shrimp? I was like, no, like I figured like everybody already has my shrimp, or they've asked for it beforehand, or they make sure I bring it there. And like there was 5 other tables there with shrimp. So I don't want to compete with people at my own club and be the only one selling shrimp for $4 a shrimp. Like all the other shrimp there were like $1 a piece, and I brought home a bag of green shrimp, and Shelby was like, I can't believe you did. And I'm like, they're $1 a piece. How could I say no to those? I can't keep them in stock. They weren't all the nicest quality, but there's some nice ones in there. I threw them in your Red Rock tank on the counter, the Firestone.
What'd you throw in there?
The green jade or green emeralds. I figured they make a great picture for Christmas.
That would be cool. Frank said, Grant, were you happy with UFC results?
No, I wasn't.
I wasn't even watching it. I'm upset about it.
I had like 2 or 3 of the fighters that I wanted to win, but other than that, no, I feel like Dana got it best when he said Sean was flat. He didn't look right when he walked out. He didn't look like he was hyped up to be there. Umar champion in the next fight for sure.
Bugsy, yes, we do. They have blue diamonds in stock, and they will be bringing them to the Keystone Clash. If anyone is here and wants to place an order, you can pay for them through our website, and then we'll just bring them up to you, so that it's just a pre-order, and then just in the notes put for the Clash.
I'll probably also have a couple bags of ocean blues at the Clash too.
Yeah, so you'll have options of blues at the show probably. I don't know about blue velvets right now because
they're on the website right now.
Yeah.
So if they sell out in the next week or 2, I'll be happy with it. I am trying to clear out the 55-gallon tank to get rid of that Cladophora, Stephen. There's just a little bit hanging on. It won't get off the log, and I feel like it's got to get hit with some razor. It is a liquid treatment from Brightwell. No, look how beautiful the Anubis is. And the moss is like...
It is. You're fighting the battle, that's for sure.
And I'm winning.
Good.
I'm winning.
Yeah,
I'm winning right now. Like, the house is looking good. Yeah. Look at that. That's dying off. I dosed that when Richard's wife was here. Cynthia saw me, witnessed that. That's going to get a good water change and a little, maybe sprinkle some fresh substrate on that. And that tank's going to look good as new.
Yeah.
So... She's not impressed. I did something the other day, and I was like, "You're not impressed at all." Like I did, I can't remember what I did, and I was like, "Come on."
Honestly.
Maybe I talked about that last week.
Steven, he said, "I don't like your tone. I didn't put Cladophora in your tank." All right, back to the topic.
So
an hour later,
we've got a bunch of ponds outside the last time a hurricane came through, I had to call up my buddy Dante to go out there and drain a couple of the turtle ponds so that way the turtles couldn't reach the top of the ponds and escape. Turtles are excellent climbers. Also, fish, shrimp, anything like that. If the ponds aren't at least 16 inches below the rim of the container, then I go out there and I drain them down just in case. I'm not too worried about the ones in the greenhouse, but cross your fingers. You never know. The greenhouse could end up in the neighbor's yard, but the ponds probably would be left behind. So I do like them to be like at least 10 inches away from the surface, but some of them also have little drain holes. So I'm not really too concerned about those ones, but I don't want to be out there losing fish and contributing to the problem of things escaping and getting into our Florida ecosystem. It's really impossible where we live. Like there's no water systems at all. Nothing's going to survive if it floods out of our tubs. Yeah, I will have your Dragonstone. I've got that on a note on top of our dry goods bin. So when I go to pull that out for the show, it will say box of Dragonstone.
This is solely on him.
No, it is not.
Because
You are
I
the
will not know
memory.
anything.
I am the physical product. Everything must go through Shelby.
Everything,
all of the
know.
giveaways. If you haven't gotten anything,
That was your fault.
this is all Shelby. She's 100% in charge
yeah.
of emails through the Garden of Eater at
my lack of
gmail.com.
sleep and everything with the baby.
I said that we are
Someone take
going to be doing the giveaway for Mimic Nature next week. We'll be putting everybody's name into the hat. As we put your name into the hat, you will get a confirmation email. So by next Sunday, if you do not have a confirmation email, please send us another email at thegardenofeater@gmail.com. Remember, that is the only way to get in on the giveaway. Commenting on a live stream or a video or messaging me on Messenger is not good enough to get you in. I need that email because Shelby has to put your name in the hat. I will forget. There's nothing under my hat.
Boots and cats. I'm disappointed that I haven't got any of the giveaways. I haven't won. Lake Deland says, "That'll be what I do for my eye supplies." Perfect.
But then on top of that, Shelby also placed an order for stickers today. We've got 1,000 stickers on the way. Did they give us any today?
No.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the only thing they didn't give us.
So maybe they're here before the Clash. Maybe they're here before Daytona Aquashella.
Yeah. Hopefully before the Clash, though. It is a new company that we're going with that Harley from P&W uses. And
His stickers are great quality, good condition, and we're saving some money. So if it works out, we will have even more stickers before the end of the year. Shelby did 2 designs. I'm not a big fan of her second one, but then she kind of got me to come around onto it. No pun intended. But yeah, it's
shrimp make the world go round, Grant.
Shelby. I like it. I'm just not a fan of those stickers because they don't go well on tanks. But we've got other things.
No one puts them on tanks anyways.
I see them on tanks all the time.
But and there's also a third sticker in the making. I decided I'm gonna just make that myself for the people that did purchase things for the baby shower. I do want to make a specific sticker for everyone that did help us. A lot of you helped us out tremendously, and we really appreciate it. So I'd like to give a little bit something back as a thank you. So.
And Richard said he forgot to get a sticker this weekend. Are you talking about the membership stickers? They were right here when you were working on the fan.
Everywhere in the house.
When the salts come and the new stickers come, I'll make sure you get all of that. We should have a salty shrimp reorder coming through. We got half of it already. The other half with all of the large containers of salts is on the way. But look at what was that look for?
I just thought of something great. Sorry.
All right. Well, we updated the website with GH and KH minerals. the Backdoor AE, if you could do that right now, that should be back on the website here soon. And then on top of that, we got a bunch of new foods. So Shelby does have that short coming out with the new foods. So we're going to have to get that on the website before we do the short. So maybe the short doesn't come out tomorrow. Maybe it comes out on Wednesday. I don't know. But yeah, if
Probably
you're
tomorrow.
in need of
We'll
the
have
larger
time.
containers of salts, they'll be here soon.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're taking their sweet time because it must be a heavier box and it's all salts.
Takes
So,
longer to get through customs.
Right. Who knows when they open that box, they're like, what is this? Are they trying to smuggle it? Like it's a white fine powder. And it's like the hardest thing to get in sometimes. And especially with how big this order was this time. So like Deland says, do you have a video on the aquatic isopods? I do have a aquatic isopod video of me opening them up, and then we talk about them. And I just don't remember the name. I think it's just called Aquatic Isopods.
It's the aquatic isopod unboxing video, I believe. However, it is a video that I think we do need to do.
Yeah.
Maybe this winter we make a point to do that.
Yeah. Johnny says I have your sticker on my 10-gallon tank. Yeah, the membership stickers are perfect for that. I got them smaller, 4 specific to fit here. Those were great.
I don't think they fit on the 10s, but they fit on the 20 gallons perfectly. Want them to be a little bit bigger. The 10s made them too small.
Well, I'm very bad at ordering things. Like, I'm really hoping...
The keychains were a horrible, horrible mistake. But if you got a keychain still, congratulations.
I spent so much time on the design for those and then ordered them. And they were supposed to be 2-inch. And, like, we get them in and it's like, they're like this big.
It was 2 inches with the total keychain, which was like that big of a ring to hit onto your keys.
And I'm like, man, that's insane. I don't understand. Bugsy says, I love your stickers. One of the only ones that stay on my Yeti despite the abuse. Oh, nice. These ones we got these from Sticker Meal. They were a little bit better.
They're good quality, but like Harley's are too. So if you've never gotten a PNW sticker, maybe they'll hold up just as well.
And then Nate said, did you get to try the stickers for the tanks that look like the logo on the top right of the screen? What? Did you get to try the stickers?
Like the ones that have the clear background and it's just the logo?
No, I'm
see-through?
I think they're just talking about this one.
Oh.
Yeah, like we put it on the 20s, but not the 10 is just slightly too big. Trey said, nice haircut, Grant. Great seeing you guys. Thank you. And Frog says, I still have my keychain. Benjamin said, I still have my limited edition keychain too. And so does SE Capitals. I broke mine. But I am glad you guys still have yours. Back to you.
What Easy V Rider has a question.
See-through Grant. No, we never did the see-through ones. I know I wanted to do that. Easy V Rider said, do you have clean Chaetomorpha macro algae available? I think I heard you mention you have it.
So it's Cheeto or Cheeto. I can't remember how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
We have some in our Opaula tank. I don't even know how much it costs or what it would be. I could split it in half and sell some of it. I'd prefer to sell some Opaulas and just give you a portion of it. If anybody's out there and they buy some Opaula and I would like some macroalgae with it, I always throw in a little patch of it, but I haven't really been trying to harvest it or sell it. So I don't even think we can yet. I might have to have a totally different license just to sell macroalgae. Yeah, I have to look into that. So I'm not selling it, but if you get some Opaula, it's the freebie weebie that it holds on to, right?
Ned Aquatic said, I just had a brand new tank getting ready to paint to bring to the clash, and I just dropped something at the end and broke it. Our son broke a tank the other day too. It's so easy to break them sometimes. It sucks. It's just like the smallest little thing can happen. Our son just tapped the counter like as he's walking by, and I was like, Oh, great. On stop.
I think the worst for me was when I took, I don't know how long that I took piecing together a background to make a terrarium. I had a really great idea. I don't even want to say what the idea is because still nobody has done it. I want to execute it one day when I have more time in my retirement days, right? By then somebody will do it. But I pieced it all together, got it all done. And when I went to go trim it up, I got halfway done trimming it up when I noticed that the background foam that we had used had actually expanded and cracked the glass and gone out of the glass. And it was low enough in the terrarium that it was going to affect the paludarium part of it. And I had to start over and buy a brand new 140-gallon terrarium to get it done. And I still never pieced it all together again. I broke it again. But above the water line, so I can fix it. It's just, it is so annoying how thin that glass is. Sorry. All right, back to AE. Back on the website. Get it now if you want it. It's not something I recommend for everyone.
Said, what type of shrimp are ghost shrimp?
So ghost shrimp is basically a common name. It's not a scientific name. Here in Florida, we have 3 different types of shrimp that would be quote unquote ghost shrimp. There's some shrimp that people will call ghost shrimp that are also grass shrimp. Some people say the difference between grass shrimp and ghost shrimp is grass shrimp have more of the claws, the pinchers, but I think they both can. It's just a common name for a shrimp that has absolutely zero pigment. But in Caridina, there is also ghosts. You've got common ghost B, Caridina shrimp that are kind of clear with white striping to them. They've got the zebra ghost of that variety as well. You've got hollow eye red ghost, and then the Neocaridina version is kind of like the snowballs, but nobody calls those ghost shrimp because when you go to a pet store, majority of the time, those shrimp that are called ghost shrimp, those are caught on seawalls and brackish water by the thousands, and they're not really bred in a farm or anything like that. So back to me. All right, so I talked about draining the ponds, and then also we have some empty ponds outside that are just completely empty, and I would have to, some of them are turned on their sides, that way they don't collect rainwater and build up mosquitoes. So right before the storm hits, I will be flipping those ponds on their side or off of their sides and filling them up with water so they don't blow away as well. Last time there was a big storm that was going to directly affect us. I went ahead and filled up all of the IBC totes on the right-hand side of the house, and I never emptied them. They're still filled, and they've got caps on them, so they're all good to go in case there is an actual hurricane this weekend. Not this weekend, but the week of the baby.
Next week.
Yeah. So that is all I have about the topic. Almost made it in a complete hour tonight. If anybody else has any hurricane preparations that I forgot about or things that they should have on deck in the medicine cabinet or anything like that, please comment them, and I'll bring them up and talk about them as well. But we do have quite a few things going on in the house. I did mention the swap meet that we had last weekend. Got rid of some of the plants, but really, honestly, I didn't bring that many, and I give away a couple at the end. But my main goal was to sell off as many of the filters as we had. Got a bunch of the canister filters from the Aquascape contest and stuff like that. And they're nice at polishing the water, but I find a nice aqua clear is more than efficient to grow out a bunch of plants and slap on a shrimp safeguard on it and be able to use it for all of my plant grow out bins and be able to keep some shrimp in them. Also, I do have the algae killed off in my 2 planted tanks. So I'll be throwing in some shrimp in them here shortly. Probably some tank tide to get rid of them out of that tank. I'm thinking that's a good idea. And they'll eat up all the dead downoy leaves that are in the tank now that the new growth is coming in after the algae kill off. The downoy did not like it that much. Nothing? It's all me. I'm thirsty. You got nothing to say?
You could just drink water. No one's going to be like, oh my gosh, Grant, you're drinking too much water during your live stream. I'm going to leave.
It's the moment of silence. It kills everybody, right? So, did make a lot of canister filter sales, and that right there was enough to make some space in the garage. However, Shelby found out today she was not too happy. My buddy Mark brought all of the not all of them, most of the Plamsky aquariums. So if you saw, we had to tear down the Plamsky shrimp room, and they got around to getting the tanks to my buddy Mark, who lived down by Plamsky, and they've been there ever since. Mark finally met up with us. He's been up this way, and we were in like Dallas or in another state, so wasn't able to get all the aquariums until just this past weekend. And so we moved a bunch of aquariums out of the garage and onto the rack in the bedroom. And now I moved a bunch of tanks into the garage. So it's tank out, tank in type world, you know? Shelby wasn't happy. She hasn't seen them yet. They're massive too. Like when you actually like see them, they're tall on their sides. That's how I fit them all in the garage. They're standing on their sides.
Yes, I don't have anything to say to you right now. Nothing nice. My mama said, if you ain't got nothing nice, don't say it at all.
But in the beginning, Shelby did thank Richard Reynolds. He came on by and he upgraded quite a few things in the house. The one thing that we wanted Richard to come up and help us with was the door to the greenhouse. If you've ever seen a tour video or if you've been by the house, that door has seen better days. I kind of reinforced it once upon a time so that way our chameleons couldn't get out and no cats or anything could get in to get our chameleons. So the wood had rotted away and the wire mesh on them had started to curl just a little bit. And I wondered what all those tanks Mark had was for. Yeah, they all went into my garage. But oh man, where was I? Oh, the door to the greenhouse. And I remember when I first put those doors onto the greenhouse, I sanded for like 2 days the doors to try to get them to fit and all working properly. And I knew that I didn't have time to spend 2 days on doing that. And Richard had proper tools to get it done. And he had more than enough time to help me out with quite a few other things. But the greenhouse door is mint. I did take a picture of it before. It was nice outside. Nice little thing. But the door is there. It's all brand new wood. And hopefully it'll last until, we have to move. As long as the storm doesn't come through, it'll be good for a while. So the dragonflies are kept out and the door isn't trying to cut anybody's ankles. So it is awesome. The greenhouse.
It would try. Like it was like ripped open like this is like the frame at the bottom. It would just like try to get you. Got me a lot. Swing back and slice my leg open. Oh man, the neighbors probably heard me cursing up a storm. It's quiet now.
But the greenhouse did just get a new water fill system, and I am going to wrap it around the other half of the greenhouse to finish it all off. Got enough PVC pipe and everything for that. I just need to piece it together. What Why the looks? You're giving looks.
Because I'm hearing this deep, like, growl snore, and then I'm looking over, and your dog's, like, halfway under the tank stand. Like, he can't fit because he's too fat, but I swear, if he could, he'd be under that tank stand. He's got his whole, like, almost rear end in there.
Now I don't remember where I was, other than he got the greenhouse door all said and done, and then helped with several other doors in the house. Jaden's room has like never really had a proper door frame. I broke it when I was a kid, and I just never knew the proper way to like fix it without getting a whole entire brand new door, which is kind of like not really, they don't make doors for that size because it is like a step up into the door. My dad made it an extension onto our house, so it's like a custom fit door, and I'm not qualified to build a new door or cut down a new door or anything like that. But Richard did fix all of the trim, put some nice colonial trim on there, fix up the hallway entirely, drywall, everything. So we can hit it with some new paint, and maybe, I don't think any videos have really shown any of the destruction or anything like that. But now that the house is properly
The blessing
finished,
was the water heater.
Yeah.
That it was leaking just enough, and we had no idea where it was leaking. Well, we did figure the leak, but we didn't know how to replace that or what to do, and we just had no time to get anyone to help us. And then Richard fixed it so fast, and it looks so nice.
Dante helped.
It looks
Richard
like a
was like,
brand new thing.
hey, Grant, can you give me some muscle real quick to get this thing off? And Dante stood up so quick, and I was like, all right, that
He's like,
takes
this
care
is
of
what I've been
that.
training for every day. He trains a lot, so
He doesn't train. He lifts garage doors all day, and he's very proud of how much muscle he's gained since he stopped doing cable installation and is doing garage doors. So yeah, Richard and Dante helped fix the leak on the water heater. It was filling up a 5-gallon bucket about every 2 to 3 weeks. So not really a problem as long as I made sure it was empty before we went to Aquashella and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, our water bill is already ridiculous as it is because of the water changes and stuff like that. So
Lazy V Rider said, "Is Backyard AE safe for starting an Opalula shrimp tank?"
So it is, as long as you're, using it to start the tanks and not using it while the shrimp are in the tanks, then I would use the recommended dosage for it. However, if shrimp are in the tanks when you're dosing, I recommend using a very small pinch, not a full scoop, a 1/10 of the scoop at the most for like a tenner. Even smaller than that if it's a smaller tank.
Nancy B said, "Yeah, Grant, save some water for the shrimp." Johnny said, "My tap water is 45 ppms with a 6.5 pH. Is it okay to use my salty shrimp GH?"
So, in my experience, if you have 45 ppm, you've got some type of GH for sure, and then possibly some type of KH. But depending on what kind of water treatment you have, you might actually have soft water, or it might have more KH than it does GH. So if you're looking to keep Caridina shrimp, you can get like an RO buddy, which isn't even a full 5-stage RO unit, that'll be able to polish that last 43 ppm or so. So that way, even at 2 TDS, you can still have, almost 0 KH, and it'll be good enough for Caridina shrimp. But with just that tap water, it can fluctuate. It might be that low this time of the year, but in 6 months, it might be twice as high. So I would always recommend using an RO unit if you're going to be using the water for Caridina shrimp. If it's just for Neos, you could just use some salty shrimp GHKH and mix it up to 220 TDS, and you should be fine.
Bugsy said, "So my tank's getting pretty cold during the winter. If I lose power, my tank will drop to the 50s. Do you have suggestions for warming tanks, or is it even going to be an issue 6 months, a year, 50s?"
So What I recommend is rather than people use heaters to heat the tanks, use a space heater and heat the room. But for the most part, a lot of the Caridina shrimp can handle the low temperature as long as you don't drop it really fast. But the Neocaridinas do just well outside, no problem. They just don't breed as much. So if you're looking to have a lot of breeding in the room, I would recommend getting a space heater and just heating the room up to 70 degrees. If it's a large basement or something like that, then maybe walling out a small portion for your shrimp room might be a energy saver in the long run for years to come, but might cost you a little bit up front.
Rusty said, do you guys have any experience with tourmaline mineral balls?
So I bought them in the beginning of the hobby, and I put a couple in random tanks. I put a bunch in one tank. I put none in some tanks, and I didn't see any difference throughout all of the aquariums, whether they had the balls or didn't. I just saw them to be kind of a waste of money. They kind of looked cool if you like took a picture and posted it online. You know, a lot of people like paid interest in them or asked questions about them and stuff like that. But did they do anything for the breeding? I don't think they helped.
Yeah.
I prefer, we have like the mineral hearts on the website. We have the mineral junkie food and stuff like that. These are more like a mineral dense food that'll break down over time, especially the mineral hearts. These will last a very long while. I should dose the snail tanks before the clash with some hearts and maybe do a video of those. Yeah, we recommend those because those actually break down over time and they actually get used up. Where I don't think the mineral balls do anything mineral wise for the shrimp or snails.
We didn't see an improvement. That's the only thing. They looked cool in the tanks sometimes, and then when we got bored of them, we just pushed them down into the substrate. There's like a couple tanks I was cleaning out years after, like I'm pulling it out. I'm like, they're still down here. Oh no, that was crazy. And Myers said, hello guys. First time I catch a live from you. Enjoying your stuff very much. I was even talking on a live about you guys just yesterday. Oh, thank you for joining us.
Glad you can make it.
And Dr. Anderson says the stream keeps dropping off. Your internet's just that
He's in
doesn't
Peru.
like us. I know, but it's always us. Could be fine with the other ones. Johnny says, how do you keep your subwasser tang moss so healthy?
Water changes and no fertilizer, making sure you don't overfeed. And then on top of that, subwasser tang is one of those plants that does really well in the low light situations. So I don't have any behind us, but like a good example is on these racks that I have them 8 foot, but we only have these 6 foot lights. You can see this tank right over here above Shelby's head. It doesn't get that much light. The higher you go, you can definitely tell those tanks don't get that much lumens. And because of that, we usually throw subwasser tangs in those corner tanks, and they usually do really well and still grow, where if you put in any of the other moss, they just kind of get really thin and don't do that well. So these tanks kind of do okay because they're getting some of that ambient light off of the other racks. So they do all right. And I didn't put subwasser tang on these racks because it was originally supposed to be snail free. But dang, can those things rock climb, like on little tiny airlines and whatever wood or whatever they could. They made it to the tanks behind them, and the tanks don't touch one another. There's a good gap in between them. So yeah, that is one thing I didn't think would happen on this raft. But pretty much half of these tanks now have snails.
Rusty said, thanks for your answer. Do you guys ever dream that you've forgotten to feed your fish for months? I have dreamed that I still had fish that I don't have and haven't had for like 7 to 8 years. And I'm like, oh man, those poor fish, and realize I haven't had them.
No, I don't have dreams like that. I have dreams where I leave water running and I flood. That
I feel
happens.
like you have dreams of where you think you fed the shrimp that night, but you didn't.
Yeah, but I don't have dreams where I go months without feeding them.
Yeah, right.
That's just you, Rusty.
It's your PTSD. Is that it?
No. So Richard also helped us with several of the fans in the house. We have a operating fan above the tanks that doesn't hit the tank when it is running on full speed. So we used to have a lamp or a fan that was here just fine.
Turn it up, too.
I think it is already up. They
No,
just turned
I
it
had
down.
on low.
I don't know. Now I looked at the light too light and I can't see
Oh,
that
I could-
much.
Oh, you can dim the light.
But yeah, maybe it was already dim. I don't know. We're still learning. It's a brand new light, and this is our first time actually enjoying the fan because most of the day our son is here using the TV and playing Xbox. So also the fan at high speed is good enough that we don't need a little fan here for Shelby every single night. So the fan right here works. Richard fixed the fan in Layla's room after the kids had hit it probably so many times. It had
bunk beds
needed
right there.
some adjusting.
Like, what's this toy? Helicopter.
So Richard installed or tuned up that fan and then installed a new fan in our bedroom. We have been using nothing but tank lights for our bedroom forever. Now the lights in there are so bright, it's like getting abducted by aliens if you turned them on in the middle of the night. So hopefully neither one of us does that anytime soon or ever.
I'm so doing it.
Oh.
If the baby has a
Listen,
big
you
accident,
just started so.
alien abduction's
At least let
coming.
me know so I can put the sheets over my head or something.
It's so funny.
But on top of that, the fans were just old in the house. We'd done Jaden's fan already because of the water changes in there. If you ran the fan, you're getting knocked on the hand and the head and everything like that.
Just feeding the shrimp, you were getting hit with the fan.
His fan is now upgraded beforehand, but Richard tuned and fixed up all the other fans. We tried to add a fan on the porch, but found out that this house was built with the very basics, and the fan would not simply be supported on our porch. So maybe this winter, though, I go up into the attic and put up some bracing that maybe one day Richard can come back and we do add a fan to the porch. We won't really need it out there anyways. The next coming months, it'll be nice and cool out. The mosquitoes won't even be thinking about coming through our front door. But right now, the word on the streets is there's a lot of tanks in here, which would make perfect laying spots for the mosquitoes. So they all just hang out by our front door, and then we act as bouncers. And some of them get in with fake IDs. I'm telling you, they just make it in. There's no stopping them. But
not good.
I'm sorry.
They're great. Easy V Rider said, does the mini Palilia grow the same as subwater tank, preferring low light, or do you recommend growing it? Or how do you recommend growing it?
So the mini Pelly is a little bit different because if you grow it in low light like the Sawasser Tang, it grows really stringy. It almost kind of looks like a totally other plant where it's trying to climb and send like one single branch to find light. Where the Subwasser Tang just kind of clouds out, right? So the mini Pelly, I like underneath full light, not strong light or highlight or anything like that, but I do prefer my mini Pelly to be in the middle racks, and then it grows super nice and dense and bushy. I was going to show that tank. Now I kind of do want to show that tank because it looks like a monster symbol. I'll take a photo later. But yeah, that tank's got mini Pelly in it, and it's not the last tank. It's the next tank over where it gets full light, and it grows really nice, thick. And I like to take the mini Pelly and I put it in my hands and I do this and I just shred it to pieces, and then it kind of carpets the entire bottom of the aquarium pretty fast. Lots of water changes though.
Did you not scrape it all? Like, why is it like that?
I haven't scraped those tanks in a while.
I know, it's just so strange to be growing in a pattern like that.
Monster Energy needs to sponsor us.
And he said, sorry for playing 21 questions with you. No, we absolutely love the questions. Keep them rolling.
21 questions is better than no conversation.
Yeah.
So.
Rusty said, did you guys upgrade your electrical in the house? What's your monthly bill like? We did not upgrade the electrical. We just
kind of upgraded the electrical because
maybe they're more
my
efficient.
uncle came in and fixed a couple of things that were backwards and reversed and not right, but we didn't upgrade anything in the house, no circuit boards or anything like that. We have added electric to outside, but right now our electric bill has risen just a little bit. It's about $450 a month. And then maybe like January, February, it'll drop down to like 200, 250 or something like that. But average is about $400 a month. When we ran our swimming pool and the house just as a normal home and not a crazy aquarium breeding facility, it was still around $300, $350 a month anyway. So if you consider that just one tank can pay for the electric bill every single month, it's not that bad.
Otherwise, it would be crazy.
Yeah.
It would be a crazy electric bill, but we keep the house really cold too, so that helps raise the bill quite a bit in Florida with anyone. Most people that have bills that are lower usually keep their house around 77 or like 80, and it's like you're dying in that house. It's so hot. I don't know how people survive that way. I know a lot of people that do it though, and their bills are very low.
But I've lived in this house since I was in second grade. So I was probably 7 years old, maybe 8. I'm 30. I'll be 33 this year. So, oh man, 25 years, if I did the math right.
Don't ask me.
And this house has been abused. Definitely. I've been slamming doors and messing with dogs and all this other stuff, and kids raising them and stuff like that. Richard definitely saw how battered Layla's door was, and it's like, yeah, we'd be playing Nerf war and stuff like that, and one kid's trying to defend himself, slams the door as fast as he can, and the other kid's trying to open the door to get the kill, and not the kill, but like we're playing Nerf wars, okay? And so doors kind of get messed up a little bit. So, and then the dogs, we've got big goofy dogs that sometimes miss the doggy door and hit the door full on. So the door is taking some damage. And Richard pretty much fixed all the handles, all the doors that were possible to be fixed. The double doors out back, those just need to be replaced one day. But I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings on replacing the doors when I just feel like should move out of the house and then let other people replace the doors to what they want.
Yeah, have fun with those $800 doors. Doors are, seriously though, let's get for real. Doors are overly priced and ridiculous. But let's continue. Richard said, we keep our house at 78 degrees. How does Cynthia not die in your house? Like, that has to be very hot. My uncle's the same way. He lives in that. I can't live in that temperature. I would die.
I think if we didn't have the shrimp, we'd probably keep the house at 74 to 76.
Yeah.
But like
right.
Because of the shrimp, optimal breeding is around 72. And we try to keep the house at 72. And the only way to do it is start off every boarding at 70. The heat index keeps going up every year. And the AC unit was installed 8-10 years ago. And when we did that, it was set up for a certain heat index. Now, for this size house, they recommend a larger AC unit than what we have. So the AC does climb to about 73, 74, sometimes 75 if I'm like in and out of the house all day doing water changes or something like that. But majority of the tanks stay within that range, that they don't get over 75 degrees because the water does take a little bit longer to raise in temperature compared to the air temperature. So
Rusty said, I'm tearing down a tank because I think my substrate is killing my shrimp. Any experience with Seachem Flourish red substrate?
So we've had it. we've used it for several different Neocaridina tanks. My only issue was the color of it. It didn't really allow for the shrimp to really show their potential colors. It was really hard to see the red cherries on it and stuff like that, but it shouldn't actually be affecting your shrimp at all. It should be okay. Yeah, if you're using Caridina shrimp, then absolutely, but your parameters wouldn't be matching up. I'm assuming he's using Neocaridina.
Johnny says, do you suggest I keep my subwasser tank moss on its own because I have it free floating in a 10-gallon planted with other moss?
I am one of those people that like to keep all of my mosses separated. Eventually, you get carried away with something, you lose track of one moss, and it sends a runner, and it ends up in the middle of your other moss that isn't as fast growing, and it's, a lot quicker, and the moss that is slower growing is usually more money and more rare, and then the other moss will take over. So I try to keep all of my mosses separated. Subwasser tank, maybe able to keep in another tank if they're on opposite ends, but something always happens with the water change, and I'd rather not.
Johnny said, I love your dog breed. Yeah, they're a bit much. The whole family now the three of us besides Grant want small dogs now because they are big and they are always pushing around the kids. They just are like the biggest bullies. They have bullies in their name, but they are sweethearts for sure.
Freezing me out now.
I am 100 degrees.
Now maybe we have to get your fan because it points on just you.
Instead of, we paid almost $600 last month, but we don't have any natural gas, so it's all on the grid. Yeah,
ours
we're
is all on the grid,
yeah,
but because of the way that they take all of the Florida resources, our cost for
our electric is down
for utilities is a little bit low. We also have access to nuclear power and stuff like that. So it does keep our electric rather low and water bill low too.
Yes, it was really great hanging out with you guys. I know my daughter was super excited when she saw Cynthia walk through the door. She's like, I'm going to go paint her something. Like immediately. She's so cute. Oh, man. Zen said, I've had big dogs all my life, and now I can imagine life without the little one. She's so much easier. Yeah, I was the opposite. I had grown up with small dogs, mainly pugs and Bijans. And when I met Grant, I knew I wanted a big dog. And Grant already had a big dog. She was perfect. And I love that dog so much. Then he went out and got me another big dog. And I loved her.
I didn't go out and get you another big dog. My employee knocked on the door and said, hey, do you want this puppy? And you're like, did I hear puppy? And came running to the door and fell in love. And I couldn't tell you no.
Yeah. Well,
that is how we got
thanks
Pearl.
To that puppy.
Yeah. But no, if you want a companion, you want something that's easy and you're not worried about the other half of what dogs are good for, then sure, get a small dog. But I like the fact that all of our neighbors are scared of our dogs, and that unless your name is Dante or one of our family, or I walk you into our house, Shrimp, as deaf as he is, if he knows you're in the house, you will hear him and you will slowly back away. I promise you. And so, yeah, if Shrimp wasn't here, I would get another big and scary dog. Yeah. But Coco, being the lab and being the protector she was just as scary and aggressive when she needed to be. So, yeah, we'll replace them probably with another Labrador, I think.
Yeah.
But I would say like 8 months after you've had the baby, then we can bring this up to serious discussion. Not doing anything until then.
We found that out the hard way when we had our son. Obviously, it was our first child, of course, and we had Pearl at the time as a puppy, and that was a lot to do, a puppy and a baby. And I was joking with him the other day.
We got Pearl when Jaden was 6 months old.
4 months old.
I believe he was
4 months old. Don't argue with me. I know 100%. because I talk about it way too much. They were the exact same size. He was not that size at 6 months old. And
we'll find out when that photo comes back up on Facebook.
It's on Instagram, not on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And I just showed it 3 days ago to my friend, talking about how I've been bothering Grant already about how I have this need to want to get a puppy for some reason. And I don't know why, because I'm the one who said months ago that we cannot get a puppy. Like, there's just no realistic reason to get a puppy. But my mind is now on that train with baby puppy. Okay.
But I would say it wasn't that bad. It's not like we learned our lesson if we're still planning on it at 8 months. I was just saying
It's just
another
a lot
2
more
months
work.
after what we had done. So 6 months is good if you're saying 4 months.
Yeah. When the kids are able to eat more whole foods and things like that, they start eating people food. Rusty says, do you have special coverage for your home insurance?
I don't know if it's special coverage, but we're spending a lot more on insurance than anything else we talked about tonight. Last year, we were paying just under $1,000 for insurance and mortgage and everything included. Because our insurance company got out of the state of Florida last December. We are currently paying just under $1,500. So we're paying an extra $500 every month just for insurance. It's brutal.
Nate the Shrimp Nose says, what are your feelings on 3D printed magnetic moss shelves? I have replaced all of my suction cups with them. To me, huge game changer.
So I'm not a big fan of attaching my moss to anything. If it grows on the wood naturally or rocks or the sides of the tanks, that's awesome. Other than that, I feel like it just grows better, less algae issues and stuff like that. Just naturally toss in the aquarium and dancing around in the flow, no problem at all. I also have had a lot of the older, like first to come out 3D printed moss ledges and stuff like that. And after like a year, they're very brittle. They break down. They're not really good to move around. And the fact that you've changed your suction cups, maybe you have better quality plastic than what we had and stuff like that. But I literally just gave away like 4 magnetic 3D printed moss ledges at the swap meet because I'm tired of bringing them around places and trying to sell them for $1 and nobody would take them. So I gave them to Dane.
Since and I'm still here, and Grant is the reason you got a second big dog. Yeah. If he didn't have people that worked with him, I don't go out seeking dogs, that's for sure. I told him if it just happens to be, if I find, sometimes they have those Labrador like setups and they got all the puppies out, and I just said if that happens, it's happening. I mean, but I don't go looking for dogs, no. And Richard said your dogs are awesome. I love how they grunt at you to get attention. Yeah, Shrimp has this like deep snore growl thing. It's not growling. He just like, it's literally like a giant pug, and like it's very deep, so it sounds like a growl, but he's just snoring, and he will do it to make sure that he knows, that you need a pet. Easy V Rider says, so Opalula can survive in a closed ecosystem without an air pump for oxygen exchange, right?
They can. It's not something we've ever done, but when you go to buy the closed ecosystems off of eBay or Amazon and stuff like that, it is Opalula shrimp that they use. Speaking with Sam Scales, he says that he talked to the number 1 Opalula breeder that first brought him over from Hawaii to California. He says that they turn redder in zero or lacking of oxygen in their environment. So the less oxygen, the redder they'll be. But I think that they thrive and they do really well with a little tiny 10-gallon tank and sponge filter set up kind of like a Sulu SA tank with brackish water. And the babies are booming in there.
And so just get Shrimp on audio recording and get a motion sensor to set it off. That's a good idea. It's funny because, yeah, sometimes he's sleeping. Nathan said, not me. If I broke in, I'd be the one on security cameras laying on the floor playing with the dog. So fun story. If he does not know that you're supposed to be here, so if you just walk in, it is not going to be a good story for you. We had a buddy of ours come in who comes all the time, we knew he was coming. We just told him to come in, lay down, go to sleep.
No. That's all that happened. I knew he was going to be here at 2:00. He got here. I got to the door, walked him in, set him up on the couch here so he can spend the night so we can go collecting the next day. And then I would say 35 minutes or 45 minutes or so after, we had turned off all the lights and everything, and I'd gone back to bed. Shrimp had woken up the entire house because he was like, "Hey, I just woke up. There's somebody on the couch. I don't know who it is. Yo, hey, there's somebody here." And he was going nuts. And I had to go out there, and I was like, "Dude, shut up. It's Mark." Because Shrimp was asleep the entire time. We opened the door and walked him in. So it's one of those things where you might want to pet him, but he might not be in a playful petting mood if he doesn't recognize you. And you've only been here once.
Yeah.
Or not at all.
One of the people
Nathan
that were.
Nathan.
Yeah, he's been here.
Okay.
Once. And we had someone that was dog sitting, and he was like so scared to get in because Shrimp must have had like a different scent on or something that day, and he was just pouncing at the door, and he said he was growling at him, and he was so scared. And I'm like, dude, once you open the door, he'll notice who you are. You got to give him a chance. But yeah, he is a guard dog for a reason. We have him as a guard dog for a reason. I would not change that. It is to protect our family and our children. We do YouTube. We do have videos of our house. That dog is here to protect us. I mean, regardless, it's a maze in the first place. I would be surprised if anyone made it past 2 feet in the door and didn't turn around because you're screwed. We know the lay of the land. You're screwed. And then we have our dog. You're lucky. I can't even get in the house most days because his favorite spot is the door. And I'm like, move. And he just looks at me and I'm like, move. Like I can't get in my own house. So it just sits there. Johnny says, I love big dog. I need big bone dogs. No hate for teacups or small dogs. That's Grant all the way. He likes his big protector dogs, and they're very useful. They do a lot of things. I just want a small dog for a companion because the big dogs are too much for us. We just want a little cuddle dog for the kids. Welcome in, Lottie's Nature. Shrimp ain't nothing to mess with. I know my breeds. Yeah, they're good dogs. Super good protectors. Most big dogs are. That's what their job is to do. I mean, I got to give it to the Chihuahuas across the street. Them big protectors of that house. And they are tiny dogs, but man, they will get your ankles. Like if Chihuahuas could be like zombies, like you're done for, honestly. Like those are going to be hard to like fight off. Like I would be more scared of zombie Chihuahuas.
All I would
just getting
look
your
for
ankle.
is a steel toe boot.
Well, yeah, they come out of that house full speed when we came home yesterday, and we're in our yard. It's not like we're in their yard. That dog came full speed at us the other day. It's so funny. Easy V Rider said, "What salt do you use for your Opaula shrimp?"
So currently we are using Brightwell Aquatic salts. Can't remember what the name of the salt is, but
we just happen to have it.
Man,
any marine aquarium salt will work. Though.
Yeah. Before we were using the Brightwell salts, I was using Instant Ocean.
Neo Marine.
Yeah, there's the Neo Marine salts is what we're currently using, but that's because once upon a time we were working with Brightwell and they wanted me to set up a saltwater tank, and they sent me 50 pounds of it. So I got a lot of it, and it's working great. So I'm not going to change it up anytime soon.
Richard said Tripper loves your kids. Yes. I love the dog's name too, because I would trip over that dog all the time too. Like most small dogs are they're accident prone for me. I almost fall over my dogs all the time growing up. But yeah, that dog's got a lot of energy. It needs kids. You know, there's some dogs in this world that just absolutely love kids because it's just got so much energy built up. We had one puppy that would follow the kids around. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think it did go to a family eventually with a bunch of kids. Took a little bit, but it was so happy. Skipper says, my lab jumps on the recliner with me. He isn't small, just a big old lap dog. Yeah, see, I can't do that with my dogs. Like, my dogs even rub up against me. Shrimp did it the other day. He hit my arm, and I was so itchy for like a good hour because I'm allergic to them. But labs, I don't have a problem with. And Coco is like 90 pounds, though, she was a chunky lab. So it hurt a little bit when she'd get on top of me, but yeah, I love the lovin's for my big dogs. It's hard. So, especially when you have smaller kids.
Skipper, you forgot to message me today. That's on you, buddy. So, should I talk about the last thing I got on my list?
Yeah.
So another good thing about this week, we had some people come by after the swap meet, and one of them was really interested on working with some of Shelby's Killies fish and some of the pseudomagills that we had, and we were able to find a good home for those. So it is less mouths to feed here at the house. I've got 3 open tanks now. So I'm probably going to be moving around some of the orange-eyed tiger shrimp into those tanks. I've got orange-eyed hybrids into those tanks. I've got quite a few booming tanks of orange-eyed yellow King Kong tigers that I'm trying to work with. So I got different phenotypes. I'll be busting those out into the old Achilles tanks. So really now I've got some bushes I got to trim. I've got 9 aquariums that I need to set up in the garage. I've got a couple of things, water changes I got to get done, a couple of things out back, the gutters, and that's about it before the baby's here. I'm probably not going to get the 9 tanks in the garage set up, but all of the tanks will be on the racks and ready to be filled up and set up with aquariums. But I'm probably going to wait till I get back from the clash to get it all running, just in case there is something happen. Shelby doesn't have to take care of it.
And Myers had to get rid of the big dogs after they pass and just has small yappers. I think that's my biggest issue with like smaller dogs is that most of them are yappers. My pugs, it was okay, but like anytime someone knocked or doorbell rang, they definitely did bark a lot compared to my dogs now. Shrimp barks once in a while. Thea like never barks. It's very rare that she ever hear her bark. That's the only issue, but yeah, I want just one small dog. Chihuahuas are not my thing, but I think it's funny watching them across the street. They have 3 of them there, and I'm pretty sure like all 3 are males too. I don't think they have any females, but I've been. And then Johnny said, my friend has 2 pit bulls and a Chihuahua. When he feeds them, guess who's the boss? He burst out of the food bowl. Definitely the Chihuahua. They are aggressive. Like, I don't know what it is with Chihuahuas, but they are like the most aggressive little dogs to me. Like, I've seen a lot of little dogs, and I will tell you, like 9 out of 10 times when I see a dog out in public that someone has on a leash and it's a little tiny Chihuahua, that thing is either going to bite me or growl at me or bark at me. It's not friendly. Like, I've had bigger dogs that were like super friendly. They roll over excited, but them Chihuahuas, I have not met any. Your dog is so funny. Look how he's sleeping. His ears popped up. But yeah, the Chihuahuas are bossy. I find it funny because out of 2 of both our dogs, we have the big male and the female, and Shrimp waits for Thea to eat. Like, and she's not even an aggressive dog. Like, he's just so polite. He's just like, all right. And then we thought he would be like the aggressive one eating, but he's just so nice to his sister, and she's so fat because of it. he lets her eat like most of the food, and then he just like picks off what she doesn't want.
And Shrimp follows me around constantly
all day.
So he is actually fit.
Yeah.
But Thea, she just goes
Doesn't do
from
it.
inside to outside, finds a nice spot to lay down, and then gets too hot and realizes how hot it is and runs as fast as she can inside and then plops down on the first cold piece of tile that she can find. And
Yep.
that is her rinse and repeat routine through the entire day. She might cool off on the tile for a little bit and then move onto her dog bed and then back outside. But that's about it for Thea. If somebody comes home, she might, hey, come say hi or something like that. But she also never makes a sound.
Yeah. She's hilarious. So her mom actually did the same thing, that she would just go sunbathe. If Pearl wasn't inside, she was out sunbathing. So, and Thea, we have moved the tubs away from the wall. And I was like, oh, I love this. I can walk there. And then Grant kindly reminded me that our dog, previous Pearl, almost destroyed our wall because she loves to use it as back scratches. And guess who was there yesterday? Sitting in the sun about to use it as a back scratcher, her daughter. She was just like, I'm like, ooh, what are you doing? She's so cute, though. Johnny said, placing my order after the stream. Thank you so much.
So you'll notice there's quite a few things that are discounted in price. Everything for the next week is buy 10, get 3 free. If you spend $100, shipping is free. That is at tgoeshrimp.com. Also, only one more week to get any of the Sulu SA shrimp and Sulu SA snails. I'll probably bring rabbit snails to some of the shows. We got a pre-order from some Sulu SA shrimp, but besides that, I won't be shipping those out after this week either.
And Meyer says, my pug/chihuahua mix is the most distrusting, mean little thing towards strangers. It's embarrassing. It's the chihuahua part of that dog. I'm telling you. I had pugs growing up, and pugs are literally they were bred to be companion dogs. So they're so sweet by nature. You threw in that chihuahua mix, destroyed the dog. That's so funny. But yeah, I had my pugs growing up were probably the most friendliest things. You would just want them to not be on you because they just want to cuddle you so much, like, and love on you, play with you. They were so sweet. The Bichon was okay, but Bichons pick their person, and if you're not their person, they don't like you. So the only small dog we've actually had together was a Shih Tzu. I still remember Eddie's line every time he walked in, what smells in here? Every time, and he thought it was funny. It is kind of funny. Johnny said, dogs are so intelligent. If only God created them, I wish he would have made them, or when God created them, I wish he would have made them talk. No, I don't. Because Grant's dog would have been so mean to me. She would have been like, leave, get out. Like all day. Coco would have been like, it took forever to get Coco to love me because I was stealing her man. So like Coco would have definitely been mean. And like you would have walked in and she would definitely be like, pet me now. Like you don't have a choice. You are not leaving this room till you pet me. That's exactly what Coco's personality would be. She's a sweetheart. But she demanded the pets. She demanded the love. And you were not going to get out of that room without giving her.
She'd probably also get her own personal chair. Because if there was like 6 chairs and there was 5 of us hanging out, Coco would be like, oh, I guess this is my chair. And she would just sit in it and hang out. And if we would get in like an argument or like just a good discussion or something, Coco would start going, hubba, 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 jubba, hubba, hubba, hubba.
Telling you to shut up. Stop arguing. She was very opinionated. She was like, man, Huskies want to shut up. I would not want to hear what a Husky has to say all day because they jibber jabber all day. Skipper said, Grant, I was supposed to remind you of something that I just remembered to remind you. Good luck with that. Johnny,
you're gonna have to remind me on Friday or Saturday now.
Thank you so much for the $2 super chat.
Appreciate it, Johnny. Thank you.
I have a cat like that. My hubby is her person, and when I cuddle with him, she looks at me like she's planning my despise. That's what I feel like if we get a cat. He's the one who does not want the cat. Everyone else in the family has been begging for a cat for years. And you know who it's going to like the most? This guy. Because of his beard, one, because it's already been proven that cats definitely like people with beards. I don't know if it's like a trustworthy thing. They're like comfort. But I am not looking forward to the fact that the cat's probably going to like you more when everyone else is going to want it to like.
All of Dante's cats like me, and I don't know why.
Well,
I know why
yeah.
Al likes me, but even the other two cats are like, I could trust this guy. And I'm like, I get it, but like, I'm not a cat person.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It makes me so mad. Al likes me, and one of the days we went over there the other day, it hissed at me and whacked at me, and I was like, I was so mad at it. I was giving it the steak eye, and Dante asked what's wrong, and I was like, your cat's being mean to me today, and it was because the other cats rubbed up on me, and he will not like you if he thinks or even suspects that you gave the other cat's attention.
That's not true, Zen Ginger. No, I'm definitely a dog person. Growing up, I always had cats until probably like 15. I would say right before I got with Shelby. I didn't have a cat when you first dated me, right?
No.
Yeah, so I had cats my whole life.
Talked about
but
socks.
They were never really my companion. They were always my mom's, and all the dogs were like they just, that's the way I grew up. And I've had multiple cats, but Smokey, Snowball, and Marksy, and then all the dogs were just.
You've actually had more cats than I have. I had outdoor cats that weren't really mine. They just kind of, I lived in the middle of nowhere. Country cats are just a thing. So, but they just disappear within a few months. So you don't really get to know them very well. And Zen says, not being a cat person makes you a cat person. That's exactly true, because I swear cats only want people that they know don't like them. Like, I am convinced on that, because I've seen it happen way too many times where I'm like, anyone overly friendly and wants to pick up a cat, the cats just want nothing to do with you. And Stephen, he says our cat chooses her person based on whose looks most ready and available to pour food in the bowl. Yeah. Oh, I've only seen like a few cats that like actually have like a real good bond. There's definitely specific types of cats that have better bonds. Richard said, Grant, I'm not a cat person either. I love cats. I don't like the care of cats. Like, compared to dogs, like, I love that dogs can go outside and do their business and don't need a little tiny litter box, because those things suck. But, like, if cats were raised like dogs, I think more people who would be cat people. But they are kind of mean.
I don't know. I'm down for like a Bengal or a bigger cat or something like that. But
oh, remind me, there is a mountain, like a mountain cat that this lady has as a pet, and it takes up like the whole bed, and they're laying together. The husband comes in to like say good morning, and the cat just hisses and like, goodbye, we're sleeping, we're taking a nap. And that cat actually looked pretty scary. I don't know if Grant would feel comfortable if that cat got that defensive over me. I think he'd be like, the cat's gotta go. It was so cool, though.
It'd be the other way around. The cat would like me.
You're right. I'd be like, I don't have a part of my bed anymore. Yeah, dogs. Yeah, cats are very rare. My parents weren't cat people either, so. No. Oh, and also cats getting on the counters, cats getting on top of things. That is a big issue with cats too. But I've seen a lot of dogs that do that. There's a lot of weird dogs out there. Like, How did your dog get on the fridge?
Yeah, but I feel like I could train a dog not to do anything.
Cats are
or
very intelligent. You can train them.
I
You
feel
just
like
don't do it.
to only a certain point before the cat attitude is just going to be like, you can't make me. Where a dog just wants to make you happy, so it does
Yeah.
what you tell it to do when it feels like it belongs.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
as long as you treat it right and show it love and attention, and you don't show it wrong habits to start with and reward them, then the dogs are pretty easy to show them what to do and what not to do. But
Yeah,
cats,
That's why the bigger cats would probably be better for us because they are trainable like a dog. So
I don't think a cat would ever eat any of our fish, or a cat would eat our fish and axolotls. Already happened. A dog would never.
they're like given the chance. Some dogs might. So Johnny says like cat named Heathcliff. I seen cat do karate chops to dogs. Yeah, my dog actually lost its eye because my cat clawed its eye out, and then it got cataracts in the other one, so it was completely blind. That poor dog. It had the worst luck, but yeah, cats are a little evil. You have one job. You have one job, buddy. It's to let me love you. Yeah, and cats don't really care for that, where dogs do. That's true.
So we got less than 4 more minutes to go. We do have a little over 600 subs to get to 50K. I'm hoping we can get that before the next live stream. So next week we can do a fun giveaway. Shelby will also be going over a couple of the baby gifts that some of the subscribers that we know would be watching. We're not going to go over all the baby gifts that everybody gave us, just some of the key ones. Some of the people that watch us all the time, say thank you. And that'll be at the end of the live stream, though. And then on top of all of that, we've got the Mimic Nature giveaway. I named a bunch of other stuff that we're going to be giving away also. We got the sale still going on, but hopefully you guys are here next week to celebrate that with us. And then after that, we've got the Keystone Clash. So the following Monday for the live stream, Shelby will have a baby. So I doubt she will be on the live stream with me.
That's it.
She'll be behind the scenes, hopefully helping me bring up comments and stuff like that. But I'll probably be no help. It'll be all me. I figured.
That's 42 people as my witness. Do you hear this, man?
I figured it'd be like
2 days fresh out of the hospital. You want me to?
It won't be
make
2 days
sure.
fresh out of the hospital.
Yes.
Oh yeah, well, out of the hospital. Okay.
Maybe only 1 day out of the hospital.
Just pulling up comments, having fun, enjoying the stream.
Uh-huh.
Well,
all on you, Grant. Laura said, "Thank you, Laura. Thank you. At least someone has my back."
It'll all be me, and I'll be talking about the Keystone Clash and my trip with Ryan. We're riding up there together. Ryan from Wild Fish Tanks. So hopefully we'll do some quick collecting and little rest stops on the way up and back, and get back in plenty enough time to make the live stream.
And Myers said, a friend once said I have 10 tanks and legit showed one of your videos to show what a lot of tanks are. I wanted to let you know. I love hearing that. Oh,
yeah,
man.
One of my favorite things is when we're at the shows and you get this real old couple and the old guy is like, "Oh, thank you. I showed her your video to show her that we're not that crazy." And yeah, that happens way too often. So it makes me smile though. I like it.
Steve, he says, let baby with her wildly randomly waving arms press the buttons backstage. That would end the stream so bad. That was so funny.
End the stream. Yeah. Not good content.
Nathan said that's like asking her to cook dinner the night y'all get home from the hospital. Grant he'd be like, "Can you?" Oh,
you
okay.
Do dishes though. I'll cook. You do the dishes.
You watch. Johnny said, "All on you, Shelby. gonna have all on you. Shelby's gonna have her hands full. I almost read that wrong. That's so funny. Zach said, just picked up some Lee's Killies fish from Ryan at our Atlanta auction this weekend. He was all the way up in Atlanta.
Yeah, he went with John Jay.
Wow.
They left right after the swap meet here and drove up there.
It says, not into live bears, but those are cool native fish. Just realized y'all know each other too. Yeah. He actually just bought us gifts off our Amazon registry, and I'm so excited to see it because one of the gifts is a little sun hat. And I was like, you know what? Ryan's thinking about when we take the baby out collecting. She needs to have that sun hat. And that's the whole reason I added it to the registry is for when we go collecting. So
just like I made a
perfectly.
list of notes for the live stream, I'm going to make a list of notes so that me and Ryan can talk about things and not get bored on the 16-hour trip, because I don't know how I'm going to be much help, because the baby, on top of everything else going on, I don't know how much sleep I'm going to get, and then I'm going to have to drive through the night. So I might just be only good to like help him stay awake with conversation, and I will have a list of things to talk about. I've got Steve's Fish Liquor t-shirt on right now. How cool would it be if we could somehow make liquor out of like fish aquarium plants?
Oh.
Not fish themselves, but like aquarium plants. Like maybe there's a leaf or a flower or something like that we could add herbal scents into the beer. Okay?
Weird. I don't know.
People are eating
Get out of here.
our sensitive fern, Shelby.
Hopefully we could see you too, Zach. And you said up in Georgia.
No, we have an Atlanta club that is talking to
Atlanta.
us,
Oh,
but
yeah.
because of the Aquashella delays on announcements and stuff like that, I should be talking to somebody here in the next week or so that is
That's
in
not too
charge of
far,
Aquashella plans, and maybe I'll remember to bring up dates, and then we can start planning that. We are also invited out to California, Colorado, New York, and it's all things that I got to schedule once we figure out the exact dates for Aquashella. But I'm really looking forward to planning a lot of trips next year, because we'll have the baby and we'll be able to experience a lot of new things.
Stephen P says, you want to see real crazy? Look at these shrimp people. It is true. It's literally like people's lines. It's funny when they come up to us and I'm like, man, I don't even feel crazy yet.
I feel like people wouldn't take us as seriously though if we didn't have this many tanks, and that's the only reason why they take us so seriously, is because we have all the tanks and they look good, and there's been so many people that's done tours. Because if we just had all these shrimp, and I don't know, I don't think it'd be that impressive.
Like the lid says, I have 4 dogs in all different sizes, different jobs. That's true, and I like some of the medium-sized dogs. They got some work to them too. The smaller ones, the cuddle. You got the medium one that's like the protector, corrals the bigger dogs.
The next dog that we get though, I'm going to teach how to clean off its feet. I saw a video of a Japanese guy that legit taught the dog how to go into the bath and then wipe its feet on a little scrub brush in the bath. And then all the guy did was dry the paws off. I was like, yep, I'm going to clicker trade the dog to do that next one. But I couldn't do that with Shrimp because he's deaf.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it was a lot harder to train Shrimp, whatever he does. He does. But I didn't want to push him too much. He's already got a couple just disadvantages. Stephen P. Yeah, do some shots of fermented Anubis. Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. Distilled macroalgae will be delicious. There's people that eat algae and macroalgae. It's disturbing how many people actually eat that. I didn't realize that. Big Steve Glass Boxes, thank you so much for gifting a Garden of Eater membership. Look, and we have a sticker ready.
So if you're gifted that membership, you got a limited edition
Whip got it, yeah.
Exclusive holographic sticker. I think Whip might already have it, but
the next ones we're gonna make are just your face holographic pictures of you.
No. If you don't already have your sticker though, you can become a member today, and you also get a 10% off code to use on our website, tgoeshrimp.com, which you can stack on top of the deals that we got running on the website already. Is that it?
Yep.
Are we done? Thank you.
Thank you.
Big Steve, I'll call you that tonight for the gift. But in person, I'm going to be calling you Big Shrimpin' at the Clash. You better be ready. But yeah, thank you, everybody. A week and a half to go until the baby's here. Again, excited. We'll see you next Monday, though, hopefully for a big old giveaway. Either way, we're giving away a rack. So be there or miss out. Thank you, guys.
Have a good